Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1808 and today's date is March 6th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Trump's plan for the economy is bigger than we thought. Did he outsmart the central bank? Now, don't you just love it when you find a $20 bill in a jacket pocket you haven't worn in ages, or a purse you've not used for a long time? Well, imagine this, finding hundreds of dollars in the papers that are sitting in your file cabinet. I'm talking about that old 401k paperwork. That money is sitting there doing nothing. Our friends at Noble Gold can cast an eye over that lost paperwork and see if you qualify for a precious metals IRA with it. So they're offering one of these special Morgan Silver dollars for all qualified IRAs above $20,000. So dig out the old paperwork and click the link below to get started on your gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now we know that Trump and the Patriots, they are planning to completely reset this economy. And we know that Q has told us that gold is going to bring down the Federal Reserve and there's going to be a restructuring. But I think this economic plan is much, much larger than we all think. And just the other day, Trump mentioned that he wants the entire nation to be built on a 5G or 6G system. Now, a lot of people are thinking to themselves, why would he come out and say this? Well, we have to compete with China because we need to have our apps load faster on the phones. We need our calls to be crystal clear. No. Yes, those are some reasons why you would want it, but do we really need apps working a lot faster today? Do we need the video streaming a lot faster? What's the other reason why he wants 5G or 6G? And why does he want all companies on board? We're going to be talking about that in just a moment. But first, I want to head out to France right now because it looks like the elite, they are panicking like we've never seen them panic before. Now, we know the BREXIT is going on in the UK. We know there's been no deal whatsoever. We know the EU is saying, listen, either you accept what we have or we can't accept anything else. And I do believe the central banker's plan is to keep the UK in limbo. And I think the people of the UK should separate with a no-deal plan. Just break away. But we have Macron out there, and he went out of his way to say, listen, we should not abandon the European Union. We should abandon the Brexit. We should cancel the Brexit. Now, he's making a plea to all the voters. He's talking to all the countries throughout Europe, saying, listen, we all need to band together, and we need to back an enhanced European Union. You know, that entity that is not elected, the entity that controls elected governments and the people. He said, we cannot let nationalists without solutions exploit the people's anger. We cannot sleepwalk through a diminished Europe. He's saying that the Brexit vote was a symbol of a European trap which he claimed was caused by lies and irresponsibility. He is panicking right now because they see the writing on the wall. They see everything that they were pushing for is falling apart. And the people are saying, you know something? We don't want to be a part of this. Now, if the Brexit goes through, which I do believe it will, and hopefully with a no deal, other nations are going to follow. This is their biggest fear. Italy most likely will be next. And this is what they're really afraid of. And right now, Macron, he's out there with Angela Merkel trying to hold all of this together. Is it going to work? I don't think so. Here in the United States, we can see that the central bank system, it is rapidly deteriorating. Now, the people, they're the ones who are getting hit hard with this. And we know that a lot of people have part-time jobs. We know a lot of people are struggling right now. A lot of people have debt. Now, remember, this system was designed to make sure that the majority of the people are in debt. Am I saying every single person? No. Remember, it doesn't affect 100% everyone, but their system does affect probably 90% or so of the people here in the United States, where a lot of these people are in debt, deep debt, and really deep, deep, deep debt. And there's others that just can't get by on what they're making, so they need government assistance. This is how the central bank system is designed. Right now, U.S. credit card debt, well, it hit $870 billion. This is the largest amount ever as of December 2018. And this is coming from the Fed. Credit card balances rose by $26 billion from the prior quarter. The increase in credit card balance is consistent with seasonal patterns, but marks the first time credit card balances retouched the 2008 nominal peak. Nearly 480 million credit cards are now in circulation, up by more than 100 million since hitting bottom after the recession a decade ago. About 37 million credit card accounts had a 90-plus day delinquent mark added to their credit report last quarter. This is an increase of about 2 million from the fourth quarter of 2017. And the question is, why do people need credit cards? Why can't people survive on the income that they're making? Think about it for a second. Because there was a time where people didn't need credit. Actually, there was very little bit of credit. And people had to use their cash to survive. Today, people can't even do that. They have to use credit. And what happens is you get into this entire credit system that you can really never get out of unless you go bankrupt and you write all of it off. Maybe that's what the country is going to do. We see the Federal Reserve right now, their beige book is saying that the economy is heading into a new normal, a slower growth that likely will keep monetary policy restrained. This is coming from New York Fed Reserve President John Williams. So what they're saying right now, they're going to stick with their patient approach. They're saying, oh, you know what? The economy's slowing, so maybe we shouldn't raise the rates right now. Maybe we should just hold them steady. Does this mean they're not going to raise the rates? No. Does this mean they're going to lower the rates? No. What they're saying right now is because of the economy, where it's slowing right now, we can't do anything. Now, if you look at the numbers that Trump continually is producing, GDP is much higher than it's ever been. The stock market is higher than it's ever been. Unemployment is the lowest that we've seen in a very long time. But during the Obama administration, they told us that everything was growing. And Obama's numbers were worse than Trump's numbers. That's kind of strange. Do you think the Fed is using this as cover to say this is the reason why we're keeping the interest rates the way they are, instead of saying, hey, Trump told us to do this? It's starting to seem that way. Now, in the beginning of the report, we were discussing the 5G or 6G that Trump is proposing. And he tweeted out the following: I want 5G and even 6G technology in the United States as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard. American companies must step up their efforts or get left behind. There is no reason that we should be lagging behind on something that is so obviously the future. I want the United States to win through competition, not by blocking out currently more advanced technology. We must always be the leader in everything we do, especially when it comes to the very exciting world of technology. Now, this is very interesting. We know that China, they have a government-controlled 5G network, and China has achieved the dominant position in the manufacture and operation of network infrastructure. China is the dominant actor in the information domain. And we can see that Trump is calling on all these different companies, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, to make the United States 5G, 6G ready. Now, the question is it because it will help us with our phones in everyday use, with video streaming, with apps, with calls? No, not really. What is 5G good for, or 6G? What do we need it for? What is the truth of this? Well, it might have to do with the economy. There's a report out there called Blockchain and 5G Enabled Internet of Things, which will redefine supply chains and trade finance. Let me just read a portion of this so you get an idea of what they're talking about. Currently, the movement of goods and commodities across the globe is driven by processes that have remained static over many decades, and in some cases centuries. Supply chains developed around the need to move away from barter-driven trade to one based on units of accounts and stores of value, such as gold, which allowed for the acquisition of goods for money. These advances led to the rise of marketplaces around the world. Ocean shipping made it possible to move large quantities of goods and commodities from one port to another far more efficiently. Since then, many advances in our supply chains have focused on addressing certain fundamental issues that arise out of transactions not involving the exchange of bartered goods or exchanges for money. The promise of secure, real-time data about goods in transit requires bandwidth, having capacity that doesn't exist with our current infrastructure. 5G enabled IoT is intended to greatly increase this capacity. Without this upgrade to our telecommunication infrastructure, the development and adoption of sub-blockchain solutions involving logistics will be limited to pilots and other deployments of reduced scale. Blockchain technology is particularly well suited to respond to both challenges and opportunities of 5G enabled IoT. Therefore, it is very likely that each technology will spur greater adoption to the other. Now, this whole entire report is talking about taking the supply chain, taking trade, taking everything that we know, currency, and putting it on the blockchain, removing it from the Federal Reserve System, removing it from a central bank. And one of the reasons why this cannot happen today is because we do not have 5G or 6G. Our infrastructure today cannot support this. So from what I'm seeing here, it looks like Trump is moving us into the next economy. The next economy will most likely be all blockchain based. And this is why he's pushing companies like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and many others to bring in 5G. It's time to do it. Other countries around the world, they already have 5G. China, they're prepared for the next economic revolution. And I believe this is going to be a blockchain system, and I believe that currency might even run on this system. And this doesn't mean that the blockchain currency won't be backed by something. It can be backed by gold. It can be backed by pretty much anything. But Q has told us that gold is going to bring down the Federal Reserve. Didn't say exactly how gold is going to be bringing down the Federal Reserve. What happens if we have a crypto type of currency running on the blockchain system? Trump gets the United States prepared with 5G or 6G. The infrastructure now can handle blockchain. They back the digital currency with gold. Why do we need the Federal Reserve? We don't. Can we do trade with the blockchain? Yes. Can we do real estate transactions with the blockchain? Yes. Actually, they're already doing this. Will it make it easier for stores to handle blockchain currency transactions? Yes, it will, because people will be able to take their phones and then go ahead and pay for something. I believe what Trump is doing right now is he's preparing the entire country for the new economic system, bringing us to 5G, 6G, bringing on the blockchain system, removing us from the central bank. And I don't think the United States is going to be the only country. I believe that this is going to be other countries. They already have their infrastructure set up. Think about it. If every country, and I'm not saying 100%, but the main countries all pull away, Russia, China, the United States, North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, India, and many others, if we all switch to a blockchain system, move away from the central bank, back the currency or tokenize it with gold, guess what? The central bank is finished. The central bank would be in trouble because countries decided to move away. And it wouldn't be that hard of a move because we're using electronic currency today. Transactions would be pretty much almost the same. Except the only difference is we don't have a centralized bank, which is a private bank, taking care of our currency. So it looks like Trump's plan, the Patriots' plan, is much larger than we think. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.